Hello, everybody. It's Friday. That means it's time for another topic of the week. So, first things first, last week's topic on the Deepkin. Lots of excitement for them. Most people were happy to see them. I really didn't see much in the way of negativity around the release. I mean, there's a few people who wish they might have been something slightly different. We kind of touched on that on the show this week, that some people are hoping for actual fish men or merfolk or something as opposed to fish elves. Yes. But on the whole, people love the sculpts, are pretty excited for the release, even if they're not personally collecting them. But this week, I wanted to kind of carry on a topic from our show this last week, which was our show this week, if you haven't watched yet, was about connecting gamers. And specifically, we focused a lot on the Game 4 app, which Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions has developed with his company that he works for, which is a really great app for sort of being able to find events and tournaments and groups and such in your area, groups, clubs, etc. And that got me thinking more about how did you find your group. And so I thought that'd be interesting to look back on, because I suspect I wondered how much similarity there was with the stories and how much we relied on different methods. It seems to me, and I sort of talked about this a little during the show, that this is the biggest barrier of entry. Like, people will stop playing when other members of when they run out of people to play the game with. I mean, it's fairly obvious. If you're alone and you're the only person in your area that plays a game, or you can't find a group or whatever, that's it. Game over, right? That doesn't matter if you can cover the barrier of entry of time and money. This is the deal breaker. And I think that if you have an especially small group, say you've got 3 of you or something that play regularly, that's a pretty fragile group, right? Because if one person decides they don't really want to, play the game anymore, now it's just the 2 of you. How long can the 2 of you keep playing the same game against each other before you're like, we really need to find some more opponents, that kind of thing. So I that's one of the reasons I love that Game 4 app. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really would recommend people to try it out. The more of us that are using it, the more TOs that are on there, the more stores that are on there. It really is an amazing resource. And even if you're just using it to find stores near you or in the area you're in, it can be incredible. It is probably the biggest public listing of game stores in the world. Something that's been traditionally very hard to aggregate. So just sort of from an inside the game industry thing, I will say that I've been part of conversations around trying to figure this out for the past 14 or 15 years, and there's been challenges to it, so there's a lot of interesting discussion around that. But anyway, I thought it'd be fun to share how you found your gaming group, and this is probably one of those places where I'm a lucky outlier, because more or less I have had the same group of, I've had my club, my group, whatever you want to say, and it's varied a little, but we've had between 4 and 6 people playing the game pretty consistently since 98, 99. We all started basically about the same time, and we've just kept at it. Now, there's been lulls. There were periods where we weren't as much into it. Maybe we got a game a year. Recently we've been trying to get a game in every week, and I would say 3 out of the 4 weeks of the month or something like that. We hit it in most months. Obviously, it's, this type of phase of your life, you've got kids, you've got adult responsibilities, so it can't always happen. But I've been lucky because there's enough people there that there's usually enough of us that we can get a game going on. People have a lot of different armies, so we get to do different forces. Here in this house, I have more or less, I have the figs for and army supported for more or less every army that exists outside of Caradhran Overlords and the old Dark Elf line. So if somebody wanted to run an old style Dark Elf army, I couldn't do that, but I can do everything else, and that's just luck. That's just nothing more than the fact that playing and collecting for 20 years and having everybody put their collections together and so on and so forth. But I suspect that that's probably not the experience most people have had. And so I thought it'd be interesting to share, how did you find the group, the club that you're with? Did you start it? Are you thinking about joining a club? what's the advice, what's the things that you would share with people of trying to get a group together, of finding a group, of building your community, of building the players. I thought that'd be a fun topic to share, especially if you've been successful in putting together a good club, because this is one of those places where I don't know. Because I've not had this experience, I feel like I don't have any good advice to share. But there's so many people out there that do. So I thought it'd be awesome if in the comments you can share your story of how you got together with your club, found your club, or started your group or your club or your local player base, or how you built it up. All of that. Because I think that will be incredibly useful as a resource for others who are trying to do the same and maybe having that challenge. So, there you go. That's this week's topic. Building your community. How did you do it? I very much really look forward to the discussion on this one. Please drop those comments down there. Share what you've learned with people. It can only help. But as always, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.